Genesis 19, the message. The two angels arrived at Sodom in the evening. Lot was sitting at the city gate. He saw them and got up to welcome them, bowing before them, and said, "Please, my friends, come to my house and stay the night. Wash up. You can rise early and be on your way refreshed." They said, "No, we'll sleep in the street." But he insisted, wouldn't take no for an answer, and they relented and went home with him. Lot fixed a hot meal for them and they ate. Before they went to bed, men from all over the city, young and old, descended on the house from all sides and boxed them in. They yelled to Lot, "Where are the men who are staying with you for the night? Bring them out so that we can have our sport with them." Lot went out, barring the door behind him, and said, "Brothers, please don't be vile. Look, I have 2 daughters, virgins. Let me bring them out. You can take for your pleasure with them. But don't touch these men. They're my guests." They said, "Get lost. You drop in from nowhere, and now you're going to tell us how to run our lives. We'll treat you worse than them." And they charged past Lot to break down the door. But the 2 men reached out and pulled Lot inside the house, locking the door. They then struck blind the men who were trying to break down the door, both leaders and followers, leaving them groping in the dark. The 2 men said to Lot, "Do you have any other family here, sons, daughters, anybody in the city? Get them out of here. And now, we're going to destroy this place." The outcries of the victims here to God are deafening. We've been sent to blast this place into oblivion. Lot went out and warned the fiancés of his daughters, "Evacuate this place. God is about to destroy this city." But his daughters, would-be husbands, treated it as a joke. At the break of day, the angels pushed Lot to get going. "Hurry, get your wife and 2 daughters out of here before it's too late and you're caught in the punishment of the city." Lot was dragging his feet. The men grabbed Lot's arm and the arms of his wife and daughters. God was so merciful to them, and dragged them out to safety outside the city. Then they said to them outside, Lot was told, "Now run for your life. Don't look back. Don't stop anywhere on the plain. Run for the hills or you'll be swept away." But Lot protested, "No, masters, you can't mean it. I know that you've taken a liking to me and have done me an immense favor in saving my life, but I can't run for the mountains. Who knows what terrible thing might happen to me in the mountains and leave me for dead? Look over there. That town is close enough to get to. It's a small town, hardly anything to it. Let me escape there and save my life. It's a mere wide place, an open road." "All right, Lot, if you insist, I'll let you have your way. I won't stamp out the town you've spotted, but hurry, run for it. I can't do anything until you get there. That's why the town is called Zoar, that is, small town." The sun was high in the sky when Lot arrived to Zoar. Then God rained brimstone and fire down on Sodom and Gomorrah, a river of lava from God out of the sky, and destroyed the cities and the entire plain and everyone who lived in the cities and everything that grew from the ground. But Lot's wife looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. Abraham got up early the next morning and went to the place he so recently stood with God. He looked over Sodom and Gomorrah, surveying the whole plain. All he could see was smoke belching from the earth, like smoke from a furnace. And that's the story when God destroyed the cities of the plain. He was merciful of Abraham and first got Lot out of there before he blasted those cities off the face of the earth. Lot left Zoar and went into the mountains to live with his 2 daughters. He was afraid to stay in Zoar. He lived in a cave with his daughters. One day, the older daughter said to the younger, "Our father is getting old and there's not a man left in the country by whom we can get pregnant. Let us get our father drunk and with wine and lie with him. We'll get children through our father. It's our only chance to keep our family alive." They got their father drunk with wine that very night. The older daughter went in and lay with him. He was oblivious, knowing nothing of what she did. The next morning, the older said to the younger, "Last night I slept with my father. Tonight it's your turn. We'll get him drunk again and then you'll sleep with him. We'll both get a child through our father and keep our family alive." So that night, they got their father drunk again, and the younger went in and slept with him. Again, he was oblivious, knowing nothing of what she did. Both daughters became pregnant by their father Lot. The older daughter had a son named Moab, the ancestor of the present-day Moabites. The younger daughter had a son named him Ben-Ami, the ancestor of the present-day Ammonites. I don't want to be a broken record and reiterate everything that was said in the King James Version, but I did notice there was a parallel between Lot and Abram in chapter 18 and here in chapter 19. These angels are men of God or God coming and with a message, and Lot and both Abram wanting to accommodate them in similar fashions. I think Abram's was a little bit more rich. The environment was different as well. I mean, he didn't live next to Sodom or Gomorrah. But given, that Lot was still able to identify that these were men of God, these were servants of the Lord, he did accommodate them. And unfortunately, because he's living, over here at Sodom, which is the place that God already said he's going to take out, if he doesn't find any righteous people there. Well, there was no righteous people because they all kind of ganged up at Lot's house and demanded, to get with those angels. They weren't even asking for consent or anything. It was just really out there. They wouldn't take no for an answer. It was very aggressive. Even though Lot was trying to protect them and he was even offering his own virgin daughters, they didn't want that. They wanted this perverted way. And so the angels they'd seen enough. They were like, it's done. We're going to just go ahead and destroy this place. But before we do it, we promised Abram that if there were any righteous, we wouldn't do it. And the only righteous that there were was Lot and his daughters and his wife. And maybe the sons-in-law, which the sons-in-law seemed like they were from this place, Sodom, which is like, Lot's daughters were taking husbands from this city. And it turns out that those men were wicked because they also had the same fate as everybody else there when they were left behind. They even mocked him when Lot tried to warn him. They didn't care. They didn't take heed. They were obviously a part of the wickedness. So to think that they were just living life over there, obviously, they had a house and everything over there. Even after everything that had happened with the kingdoms fighting some chapters ago, they still stayed. And the daughters were getting husbands from that place. That's crazy, because they were not husband material, obviously. And so, in the end, it was just Lot, his wife, and his daughters, and the angels literally had to grab them to pull them out, outside the city and go, run to the mountains. That's your best bet. And he's like, well, what about that tiny town? This is a lot going on here. This is a lot. And they settle on that. Fine, go there to that tiny town, but you need to get up out of here before we do what we're going to do, because we can't do it until you leave. We made a promise. God made a promise to Abraham that, that we wouldn't do that to any righteous that were here. We would spare this place. And at this point, we're not sparing it. So you need to go. And he does go to this town, Zoar. And I guess the wife looks back. They told him, don't look back. Just go. Get out of this wickedness and don't look back at this wickedness now that you're free. She does. Maybe reminiscing. Maybe feeling like, she made memories and maybe it had a place in her heart or something. But, it's a 100% wicked place. So wicked that God is raining down like lava from heaven to destroy it. He's burning these people. I don't know how you found memories in that, but in reality, that's what a lot of us do with our sin. We over there reminiscing about it. Thinking about the good old times, when we used to do that and this that we don't do anymore. In reality, there's a reason why we were delivered from it. And it wasn't because it was good. Don't be a dog going back to its own vomit. Once you've been delivered out of something, I think if you can, and you're going to need God's help for sure, stay away from it. It could be people, it could be things, it could be habits, it could be environments. It could be so many different elements of one's life that it's just not healthy or good for your soul, for your heart, for your life, for your future. And it isn't something, I don't think it's necessarily wasted time. If anything, it's a lesson. And I know that's hard to hear because I never liked it. I still don't like that saying. When you leave something with empty hands and it's like, well, take it as a lesson. It's just like, kind of seems very dismissive or gaslighty. But sometimes it really is, a valuable lesson, like to help others and prevent it, but also to just a lesson to show you about how not good it was, how fake it was, or how it wasn't what you thought, or how self-destructive it was. So, I don't know. She looked back at this wicked, sinful place that God himself is doing some supernatural activity, raining down lava to destroy. That's not even normal. When does he rain down lava nowadays? It doesn't rain lava normally. That's not a regular thing or activity of this earth. It's quite supernatural. So it was that evil that he was just done. And I guess Lot must have been traumatized by all this. His wife is dead. Like everything that he knew and that he had all these couple decades, he had nothing. He had nothing. Not even the riches, nothing. All he had was his 2 daughters. And who knows what was going on in that city of Zoar where he felt like he just was afraid and he had to leave. Maybe the city wasn't good. Maybe because he came from Sodom and this just happened to Sodom, maybe people were giving him looks, Who knows, really, why he felt that way. Maybe he was just shaken up about all of this. But he ultimately did go to the mountains as he was told to do anyway. And I guess he must have been traumatized. They were all seem very traumatized. The daughters are over there thinking that there's no men left. So they get with their dad, get him drunk, so drunk that he doesn't even remember what they did. And yeah, Sweet Home Alabama, man. I don't know. It's not his fault, though. It says that. He doesn't even know what they did. He probably shouldn't have drank, but given the human circumstance of all this stuff happening to you, you probably would drink too. My dude isn't just not out there being a drunkard. My dude is traumatized. A lot just happened. He lost his wife, everything, And it was very supernatural. Everything about it. They weren't even really supposed to even look. And I noticed that also it says in here with Abram, he woke up, he slept well that night, he didn't even hear any of that chaos going on. He just woke up to find the aftermath from afar. Yeah, they weren't meant to see it. They weren't meant to hear it. It was meant for the people who inhabited that place that were wicked and reprobate. It must have been so supernatural that it just wasn't for human eyes, not living ones, to see and perceive and experience or even witness. And unfortunately, Lot's wife wanted to see, I guess. Maybe that was what it was. She was just curious. Who knows? Sometimes just don't be curious. Sometimes just don't go there. You may not know, but just do what God says if he says no. And I know that that's hard, believe me, sometimes, especially in times like this. Lot didn't really have it very good. And it does make me sad because he wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't. Definitely different than Abram in many ways, but he was a righteous man, a good man. A decent man that did hearken unto God. Mostly. It's better than most men or women that I see, that I've gotten acquainted with. So, that's food for thought. The Moabites and the Ammonites. What are these? The Moabites and the Ammonites were conceived through this incest, daughters with father. And they say that they still exist to this day. So, who are the Moabites? Lineage is a big thing here, You can find your lineage through this, if you really study. You find out, kind of who your people, quote unquote, are. I mean, we're all from Adam and Eve, and we're all from Noah and his 3 sons, but there's divisions, like in a family tree. There's it branches out and becomes whatever it becomes, and you're from, a distinct type, and we're all different right now, and there's a origin of that, so Genesis is really important because it is the beginning, and it just shows you kind of our beginnings, how it came to be the way that it is now. Anyway, that's enough talking for today. Whatever stood out to you, I would love to hear. Feel free to comment if you want to tell me about it. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I just I look forward to chapter 20. What's going to happen next now? We're still waiting on Abraham and Sarah to conceive that promised son. Maybe we're going to get it in chapter 20, huh? Anyway, I hope that you guys have a blessed day, and I just pray that you got something from this word today. I'll see you tomorrow with chapter 20. In the meantime, God bless, and I love you. Bye.